in Wilmington, North Carolina. We are not hearing bupkis from the Republican Party there, but the local Brunswick County Democratic Party in North Carolina has identified Allison Dunlop, the president of the North Brunswick Republican Club, as one of two people who is door knocking in a white woman, door knocking in black neighborhoods to make sure that the people who live in these houses actually are the people they say they are because they are voters. Right. This is from WECT, a North Carolina station. They note that the North Carolina State Board of Elections put out a statement reaffirming that election officials do not go door to door. This is voter intimidation. They are, at the very least, trying to prove some bizarre conspiracy. Turns out that Dunlap, one of the people who was involved in this door-to-door effort, is, in addition to being the president of the North Brunswick Republican Club, a leader of the local chapter of the so-called North Carolina Audit Force. Who's behind the audit force? Mike Lindell, Mr. Pillow, and his National America's Audit Force. It's just incredible. There's a whole story about this. You can, actually, the one I'm looking at is from dailycoz.com. And thanks to Ring doorbell camera footage, the Sloans, excuse me, pardon me, sneeze there. Thanks to Ring doorbell camera footage the Sloans shared with WECT, were able to see parts of what happened. They ring the doorbell. Eliza Sloan answers it. They say, "We want to verify that you're the voter in this home. How long have you lived here?" And then they ask about her husband. And then they walk into her house. "Where's your husband? We want to see him too." Really? This is what the Republican Party has to offer America right now. And now, to just double down on this, Rick Scott, I just retweeted this. This is so worth paying some attention to. Rick Scott, the guy who was the head of this big hospital group that committed the largest Medicare fraud in the history of America, walked away with tens of millions of dollars, used that money to become governor of Florida, and prevented the state from expanding their Medicaid, leading to the death of Charlene Dill and God only knows how many other Floridians, then used his money to become the senator from Florida, which is what he is right now. He just published this 33-page document. Jennifer Rubin from the New York Times, the former Republican, very conservative columnist with the New York Times, just pointed out this piece over at this opinion piece that about Rick Scott over at the Washington Post, that the part of his claim in his 33-page document, the part of his claim that got all the headlines is he said Democrats are rigging the elections in advance. They call it protecting the ballot, but it's really election rigging, which you and I know is hysterical BS. Well, it's worse than hysterical BS because the Republicans are trying to rig the elections by making it harder and harder and harder for people to vote, particularly if they are people in Democratic areas, and double particularly if they are people in black neighborhoods and in many cases Hispanic neighborhoods. And certainly Native Americans. I mean, there's an effort to gerrymander, I believe it was Montana, might have been Nebraska, to just cut up some of the Native American reservations. So that's what's getting all the headlines, that Rick Scott is saying, oh, the Democrats want to rig the vote. But if you read his document, he's proposing a 25% cut in all federal employees. I mean, this is the old David Koch, 1980, running for vice president of the Libertarian Party shtick of, or Grover Norquist, shrink the government down to the size where you can drown it in the bathtub. The whole "we hate America" thing. And Jennifer Rubin tweeted, the proposed 25% cut in the federal workforce will not be popular with anyone who visits national parks, relies on federal law enforcement, has an issue with Social Security, needs a tax refund, or thinks we need a strong national defense. Amen. So Rick Scott, the guy who I think has a good shot at becoming the next Republican nominee for president. He's been very carefully treading this middle ground with regard to Trump. He's got piles of money. He's fully bilingual. He speaks Spanish very, very well. This guy, keep an eye on this guy.